About to get started, chat. Eating that motherfucking twin. This shit go mic check real quick. Shit straight. Start. Alright, bet. God damn, that shit, that make my shit low as fuck. Alright, about to start. Starting minutes. What going on, chat? You back in these motherfucker twin.
Give me a hell yeah! What?
In that motherfucker.
What?
So everybody, how y'all doing tonight? How y'all doing tonight? Then make sure that motherfucking watch card's not playing in the background. Make sure that shit not playing in the background. I not playing. Bet. We part two. Tupac and Biggie. Saga we got going on, twin. We had an awesome stream yesterday. Now we back doing it again. Back doing it, motherfucker, again. Y'all see y'all enjoying it. Y'all been enjoying it. I think we did 19K yesterday. We're gonna try to go to goddamn. We're gonna try to drop 50K. We're gonna try to drop that motherfucker.
Another one.
We're gonna try to drop that motherfucker. I appreciate everybody who came to the live yesterday. I forgot what the fuck we left off at. Where we left off at? We gotta go back where we left off at.
See Me is directed at both Biggie and Stretch. He actually met
that same night on October 13th, Tupac met the wife of the notorious B.I.G., Faith Evans, in L.A.
Oh, this shit right. I don't know, my head is, bitch. Got me fucked up. Me fucked up in here, motherfucker. There we go. Alright, we straight.
That's when the whole Biggie and Pac beef escalated.
At this point in time, Big and Faith were separated, after catching him cheating with Lil Kim. Prior to that, Kim was actually on the radio bragging about how Big and Faith are separated and that she can now have him for herself. And this was before the two actually broke up. Kim's comments on the radio made Faith suspicious. She then found out that the two had been sleeping together every time he went out to record music late at night. Also during the Junior Mafia tour, basically during the entirety of their marriage. And Lil Kim would always pretend to be something like a sister to her. Biggie also had a rapper named Charlie Baltimore as his mistress. He had multiple women on the side and had become the player he claimed to be in his lyrics. Faith then confronted him at the Millennium Hotel in Time.
Fair shit. As long as you got money, you can get whoever you want to, twin. Am I lying?
Oh my God!
No matter what you look like, twin, them motherfuckers coming.
Square, asking, "What is up with you and Kim?" Big was honest and said, "Yeah, we get down like that." He didn't deny it. All this time? You've been effing this girl all this time? Yeah, Biggie said. Faith appreciated his honesty and they slept together that same night. But she didn't feel the connection anymore now that she knew about his cheating. She did it for closure and wanted to separate from him. Decided to live alone for a while. She said that she didn't care who Biggie wanted to sleep with from that point on. Faith then refused to go on tour with Biggie and instead lived in the 2-bedroom apartment of the R&B group 112. Which consists of 4 male members. Without Biggie being around to pay the bills, Faith was struggling with money. One day she called him at their house, but it was his mistress, Charlie Baltimore, who picked up for him. And that's when she knew that he's cheating again. She called him on different dates, and it was always Charlie who picked up for him. Always at Big's house while he and Faith lived separately. Faith supposedly beat up all the women Biggie was cheating with, even Lil Kim. But at this point in time, she was done caring. She then met an NBA player in New Orleans, whose name she changed to hide his identity. She just called him Roger Short, a tall, dark-skinned man from New Orleans, playing for a team in the Midwest. She was attracted to him and started an affair of her own. So now she was cheating back on Biggie.
I just thought about this shit. Hold on down. We got them ass, some got them here. Hold on, we gotta get right to me. We don't give a fuck, we think. But Stevie J is close to Diddy. So he already knew how Faith would get now. Why the fuck he gonna marry her?
Biggie, purposefully sleeping with men she's attracted to get back at him. The same day she met Roger, she wrote him the address to her hotel room. And that's when they started hooking up. She would have a couple one-night stands and affairs here and there, just to spite Biggie. This will become important later on when she meets Tupac. She was feeling more and more disconnected from her husband and her bad boy label mates. Started making her own business moves while the bad boy camp was touring. They were mad at her for not touring with them. Faith kept a distance from her husband and wanted to advance in her career on her own, while hooking up with men like Roger Short during her trips around the US. She had friends with benefits in multiple cities. In October, she then came to LA to record some music. She was staying at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel and once again got in touch with Roger Short. Then she met a producer she called Terry Dollars on the same trip. His real name is most likely Teddy Riley. She had sex with him a few times as well.
Shortly after that, on October 13th, a day after Pac got released from prison, Faith went to the Hollywood Athletic Club in LA, where she met Treach from Naughty by Nature.
There are two conflicting recounts of what happened next. According to Faith, Treach told her that Tupac wants to meet her, but according to Treach, it was the other way around. Faith was the one who wanted to meet Tupac, but according to Faith, she knew nothing about him and had no interest in him. In some of her interviews, she even claimed that she didn't even know who Tupac was, or that he was signed to Death Row. But in her book, Keep the Faith, a memoir released in 2009, she admitted to knowing him. Even added that Biggie told him about the beef and his accusations of him having something to do with the Quad Studio shooting. According to Faye, Biggie was convinced that Pac knew better than to think that he had something to do with it, basically implying that he was creating drama and lying on purpose. So Faith knew exactly what was going on between the two, and still decided to meet her husband's accuser, someone who considered her husband his enemy. Went to talk to him before Big and Pac could talk it out. He's not even been outside for a week and she's already meeting him, before Big even got a chance to reach out to him, cause he was on tour. They could have talked it out before Faith got involved. And Big didn't know what Tupac was going to do next. He wanted to see him and talk it out, but there was an awkward silence between them. And now his vengeful wife is going to his potential enemy, someone who's also vengeful and has built up a lot of hate and resentment for Biggie. A lot of people believe that she knew exactly what she was doing, that she purposefully looked for Pac to sleep with him, sleep with someone Biggie considered a brother, just like how she considered Lil' Kim her sister, before getting stabbed in the back. She was already sleeping with other men the nights before, and was going to a new club every night to meet men. She wanted to hurt Biggie the same way he hurt her. And now, according to Treach, she's asking for Tupac. Soon as they greeted each other, a photographer came and took pictures. And you can clearly see that she's not wearing her wedding ring. She's showing off her ringless hands, while Tupac is looking provocative. Faith told everybody, including Tupac, that she and Big are separated and about to get divorced. So she might have purposefully holding up her ringless hand to seek attention from Biggie. Like, look, I can go and hook up with your enemy if you don't treat me right. This is what you get for betraying me. Maybe she was indeed trying to hurt Biggie the same way he hurt her. Cause there is no other explanation on why she's holding up her hand like that. But later on she was playing innocent, telling Biggie that she never cheated on him. But she later admitted to it after he passed. And yes, she took off her wedding ring every time she went to the club. Tupac complimented her, saying that he likes her music and wants her on his album, adding that only she can do that one song he has in mind, which is Wonder Why They Call You B. Faith was struggling with money at the time. Without her husband or label supporting her, she wanted to make her own deals and work with artists on the West Coast. And she obviously knew that working with Pac would make her husband mad or at least make him worry. Seeking attention while playing with fire. You don't just collaborate with people who accused your husband of being somewhat responsible for a shooting. Faith told Pac that he would have to get clearance from Bad Boy Records to put that song on the album, and that she wants $25,000 up front. That's not a problem, Pac said. In her memoir, she said that she didn't actually go ahead and work with him immediately, but instead went home to think about it and to ask her manager Mark Pitts and Biggie on the phone, quote-unquote, a day or two later, if it was fine for her to do a song with him. And they supposedly told her that it was no problem, that she can go ahead.
She look better
I met Tupac out here. He wants me to do a song with him.
Anything outside blood here, man.
Oh, word? Big responded. You're gonna do it? If the money comes through, yeah, I'll do it. According to Faith, Big played it cool, as if he wasn't worried or jealous, which might have not been the type of response Faith was anticipating. But Big knew better than to sound jealous and worried, as that would make him look weak and insecure in Faith's eyes. Then again, we don't know if this conversation actually took place, as Big was shocked when he saw Pac and Faith together. So she could have lied about it to make herself look better. Because as we will find out, she told quite a few lies to save her image and reputation. So doing a song with someone you supposedly know nothing about requires you to ask your husband for permission, but stepping out of the marriage doesn't? She wasn't even on speaking terms with him anymore. I mean, she was collaborating with multiple artists without having to ask anyone for permission. But Tupac somehow is the exception. It's not unlikely that she knew what she was doing was wrong, or else she wouldn't have asked for permission, assuming that she did indeed make those phone calls. But yeah, a lot had changed between them. Just a couple weeks prior, they were trying to come off as hip-hop's dream couple. They were on the cover of the October 95 issue of the Vibe magazine, and now she's hanging out with Tupac. The photographer who was there that day was supposedly ordered and paid by the people from Death Row to take those pictures with Faith and Pac together. She said nothing else happened after that night at the Hollywood Athletic Club. She just went home and that was that. In her first recount, she said that Pac couldn't get the clearance from Bad Boy Records, and that it never went any further than them taking pictures at the club. She then supposedly went and recorded the reference track for a girl group that's not part of Death Row. And Death Row supposedly tried to get their hands on those vocals, so that they can put it on Tupac's album. She initially denied that they were ever in a studio together, saying that she was only in the studio with the girl group she was working with, not with Tupac. That's what she said in her first account, during an interview with Video Music Box on July 27th, 1996.
Situation with me and Tupac, there really never was a situation. I mean, we met, he was really nice. He asked me to work on his album. He told me he could get it approved or whatever, get clearance from the label. And then I found out that he probably couldn't. I was out there working with another group. I won't name them. They have nothing to do with Death Row.
Okay.
And I was writing for them. That's how I met him. I did a reference vocal for another group I won't name.
Okay.
And it ended up that they were going to try to use the vocal on Tupac's album. So I guess it was for him or whatever. I really don't know.
This can be easily disproven, as there are audio recordings of them together in the studio on October 19th, while they were working on the song Wonder Why They Call You B. There were also about a dozen eyewitnesses who have seen those two together in the studio.
Take it back. That's all right. Remember, we can bring you in and out whenever we want.
I ain't never heard this song. Yeah. What song is that?
Who was there that day was supposedly ordered and paid by the people from Death Row to take those pictures with Faith and Pac together. She said nothing else happened after that night at the Hollywood Athletic Club. She just went home and that was that. In her first recount, she said that Pac couldn't get the clearance from Bad Boy Records, and that Chuck Phillips, who have seen those two together in the studio.
Take it back.
I want to hear the whole song now.
Remember, we can
Shout out to
bring
the
you in and out whenever we
102
want.
people in here, bro. Appreciate y'all. Y'all team Biggie, y'all team Tupac. I need that in the chat right now.
Hey, but you're doing
Y'all thug life here.
You're doing it though, girl.
I'm dropping in the chat.
This right here is from an interview with Chuck Phillips, which took place on October 19th. And you can clearly hear Faith recording her vocals and talking to Tupac, while Pac is outside the booth having an interview with Chuck Phillips. So Faith has been lying for all these years. She still hasn't changed to this day. She's been in 3 marriages and cheated every single time. Even recently on her ex-husband Stevie J. She brought multiple men home and slept with them in Stevie J's bed. And when confronted, she had no remorse, zero accountability, and a cocky attitude. Stevie J at least was able to catch her red-handed. So she wasn't able to lie her way out like she did with Pac and Biggie.
Damn, we lied. We lied. It's cool, we lied. I hate you. Please leave me alone. Please, I hate you.
Sinocat of 1091977.
Appreciate that, bro.
No, I ain't going out of here. Here you go with your dumb shit.
We ride with Pac no matter you wrong, right?
This is what I don't want to be bothered with.
You can't do no wrong, man.
And this was her at almost 50. Now imagine how wild she was when she was younger.
I used to fuck mad niggas when I was little. That's why dick don't really do shit for me now. Like, your dick don't really...
Get free that.
She was out in clubs every night to meet men. Didn't even matter if it's the enemy of her husband. She went back to the Peninsula Hotel with Tupac the same day they met, meaning on October 13th, after leaving the Hollywood Athletic Club. Because when Pac went out to smoke, he saw Faith leave the building. He then yelled across the parking lot, "Y'all leaving?" And Faith responded, "No." Pac then said, "Cause we about to go back to my hotel room. What y'all gonna do?" And Faith said, "We gonna follow you." That night, Faith went to Tupac's room at the Peninsula Hotel. 3 days later, they even went to the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack release party together on October 16th. There was no mention of this meeting in Faith's first recount when she was asked in interviews months later. But in her memoir, which she
We gotta get a hell yeah for that.
Give me a hell yeah.
I see what Tupac talking about there. So I always heard the song when I was little, but I ain't never know who he was talking about.
He released in 09, she spoke about a whole new set of events that supposedly transpired after the night at the soundtrack release party, which she either tried to hide or forgot to mention in her first account in 96, or made up and added on top of her mountain of lies in an attempt to trickle through people who have noticed the holes in her story.
Because at first she denied ever being in a studio or hotel room with him. But then later in her memoir, she said that they indeed met up and spent time together. That they didn't just part ways and never see each other again after taking those pictures at the Hollywood Athletic Club. Cause that's what she claimed while Pac was alive. According to the singer Danny Boy, Faith Evans would go on shopping sprees all around LA and return with trunks full of gifts and clothes for Tupac. Like for example an expensive gold Versace silk shirt, which she would later wear to taunt Biggie. Like on November 5th in Las Vegas, for example. He bragged about it in the Daily News, which of course infuriated Biggie. Why would you buy trunks full of gifts for someone you consider a stranger? Someone you supposedly don't even care about? Here's what happened on October 16th according to her memoir.
They were on their way to the soundtrack release party when Tupac called her asking where she's at. Notice how Pac somehow has her phone number and can call her up casually like a friend, as if they're close. And not complete strangers like Faith made it out to be. Pac saw Faith's car and jumped in the back seat. They both got out the car when they arrived at the red carpet and hung out together.
Faith on the song Wonder Why They Call You Bitch. Then she did a song with Pac, Sure Put the Fire on the Log Fire.
Fat.
At Lamont D9T said, "You said Pac can't do no wrong."
We Team Pac. Shout out Team Pac, man. We Team Pac in here, man. Y'all better not say no Biggie. We don't like Biggie over here. I don't like Biggie. I don't like Biggie. I don't like Diddy. I don't like Dr. Dre. And I don't like Snoop. Y'all know why. Y'all been in the stream. Y'all know why.
the entire day. Pac sat at the same table as her the whole night. They then went to an after party together at the Peninsula Hotel, the exact hotel Tupac was staying at. Pac jumped into Faith's limo and they drove to the hotel together. At the Peninsula Hotel, Pac and Big Syke hung out together with the rapper Dru Down, who brought 2 Italian sisters with him. He was seeing both at the same time and tried to convince one of them to sleep with Pac. But she refused and the sisters left. Pac came out the shower with a towel asking for the girl, who had already left. He then put on a sweatsuit and said, "Watch this though. Watch this though." Faith was knocking at the door of Pac's hotel room, and Pac knew that it was her. After opening the door, Dru Down saw her quote-unquote disguised in a hoodie. And according to him, it seemed like she's trying to sneak into Tupac's hotel room without anyone noticing. But Dru got the feeling that she had been to his hotel room before, because how else would she be able to find it on her own? Pac was supposedly bragging about his relationship with her. Even on October 16th, 3 days before Faith laid down her vocals for Wonder Why They Call You B. After greeting Pac, Faith then saw Dru and Syke drinking and smoking. She probably realized that her and Pac won't be able to spend some time together, at least in private, and do whatever the two plan to do.
Me too.
So she left immediately. Dru Down was confused, wondering what the hell just happened. It's more than likely that Faith wanted to do more than just say hello and then leave. She didn't want to drop any hints that there's something going on between her and Pac. Nobody could know about this. So she just greeted him and left. Pac knew that she was coming and kept bragging about it to Dru Down. He then invited him to come record with him the next day, which was October 17th. So on the next day, Pac picked him up and they drove together to Can-Am Studios, where they recorded the song All About You, with Dru Down in the intro. Pac also recorded his verses for Wonder Why They Call You B. He wanted to put Faith on it and turn it into a diss. But she wasn't actually there in the studio on October 17th. Pac planned to get her on the song in the next couple of days, on October 19th to be exact, 2 days later. For that, Pac picked her up at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in his convertible, and they drove to the Can-Am Studios together. She saw Suge, Corrupt, and people from the label there. Knowing that Puffy and Suge were in the middle of a beef. I mean, she was right there when Suge made fun of Puffy at the Source Awards, and when Pac publicly made those accusations against Biggie in magazines. But she still decided to record the song with Pac. This is what she said in the second version of her story. In the first version, they never even were in the studio together. Now all of a sudden she admits that they indeed went to hotels and studios together. With Pac being on Demon Time, he also played her the first beat for the Biggie diss track Hit 'Em Up, saying, "Look, I've been working on new music for my new album." With everyone from Death Row in that room smirking. They all knew what Pac was going to use the beat for. Faith and Puffy's baby mama, Misa Hilton, who was also there that day, were the only ones who had no idea what that song was about. They were just bobbing their heads to the beat and enjoying it. Pac hadn't laid down a verse yet, but he was planning to brag about sleeping with her, which he tried to do that same day. So he basically played Biggie's wife the beat on which he was planning to kill her husband lyrically. Planning to brag about sleeping with her while she's there in the studio vibing to the beat, not knowing what's about to happen. Having a great time enjoying the music, just to find out that she was vibing to the melody of the song that would turn Biggie's world upside down and give him the shock of his life. I mean, how was Faith supposed to explain it to her husband? What was she supposed to say?
Sometimes his eyes look straight in
I was in the studio with the guy who accused you of setting him up. I was in a hotel with him and he's now bragging that he slept with me.
Or you can't look straight.
Oh, and I was also vibing to the beat he tried to end your career with. It was a terrible look. Just imagine Faith's reaction hearing Pac brag about sleeping with her on the same beat she was bobbing her head to while using it to humiliate Biggie. And at the time the song came out, she had a baby on the way. Those were probably the darkest times in Faith's life. Following the teachings of Machiavelli, Tupac wanted to win by all means necessary, using methods that are cruel and immoral, but effective. A leg lock, something that would ensure Tupac's victory, making it nearly impossible for Biggie to come back, humiliating and dethroning the King of New York. A lot of people saw Faith sit on Tupac's lap while they were spending time in the studio. The singer Natasha Walker said that she saw Faith's legs between Tupac's legs. Actor and singer Ray J has seen it too.
This nigga Ray J be in everything, like Kim Kardashian.
At Lamont D90 said, that man was diabolical.
Who was diabolical? Monty, who was diabolical? Y'all gotta keep on country and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm pronouncing names and shit around.
Walked in one day and Faith was sitting on Tupac's lap while Pac was writing a verse. It was like, what the F is going on? That was one of the craziest sights, dog. Faith was in Pac's lap. I was like, what the F? I'm not... Is that... It can't. Like I'm not hating on nobody. I got love for Faith. That was unbelievable. During the time of the East Coast West Coast beef. Others said that they looked like a couple. The song Wonder Why They Call You B was a subliminal diss towards Biggie's wife Faith Evans. But she didn't fully understand it. In the song, Pac was pointing out the hypocrisy and the delusion of promiscuous women. And Faith didn't understand the irony of her sitting on Pac's lap and cheating on Biggie, while at the same time making a song bashing promiscuous women. And Pac wanted to point that out to everyone. The same woman that jumped on a song bashing promiscuous women is promiscuous herself, cheating on her husband while pretending to be a loyal wife. Cause that night after the studio session, according to multiple people that were close to Pac, the two slept together in Tupac's hotel room at the Peninsula Hotel. According to Faith, however, she only went to Pac's hotel room to get her check of $25,000, which Pac promised on October 13th, when they first met at the Hollywood Athletic Club. According to her, October 19th was the one and only time she went to his hotel room. But we have eyewitnesses like Drew Down and Big Syke who saw her there on October 16th, meaning 2 days prior, when she quote-unquote came there to say hello. Faith tried to make it seem like those two incidences were one incident, saying that the one time she came there, she almost got assaulted by Pac. After Pac's two friends, which were Drew Down and Big Syke, left the hotel room. That's what she said in her memoir. But that's not what happened, because she was the one that left. Drew Down and Big
said, Tupac definitely gay.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. You get your goddamn ugly ass on.
Anyway,
Big Syke stayed in the hotel room. Drew Down even confronted Faith years later for lying about that incident. The time Pac and Faith went to the hotel room together was on October 19th. Drew Down and Big Syke weren't even there for that. That's the day, according to Pac, where they slept together. Faith, however, told the story differently, saying that on October 19th, after recording the song Wonder Why They Call You B, she only went to his hotel room to get her check. And Pac supposedly said, "My manager is bringing it to my hotel right now. I can bring it to you later on this evening, or we can swing by there right now and pick it up." In her memoir, she then said that she wanted to go to Tupac's room at the Peninsula Hotel to get that check. But when they got there, no manager was in sight. But there were two guys in Tupac's hotel room waiting and smoking blunts. She then said that the four of them waited in Tupac's hotel room for a whole hour, but the manager wouldn't come. At one point, Pac's friends left and she was all alone in the room with him. As soon as the two guys left, Pac supposedly confronted her. "You know I love New York, but I'm not effing with New York right now." Faith got scared and was shocked by Pac's sudden switch of mood and attitude. "Really? Why is that?" "Because they set me up. You know that, right?" Pac was supposedly staring at her like she was the one who set him up. "You don't really believe that bullish. I'm telling you, they set me up." "Look, Pac, I just need to get my check and then I have to go," Faith said. "The situation with the money is like this. If I give it to you, then you my B-word." "Yo what?" "You heard me. You gotta be my B-word." Faith got up and moved further away from where Pac was standing. "I'm not anybody's B-word," Faith said. "You Biggie's B-word," Pac said. "I'm his wife. I thought y'all broke up. We still married. Whatever. Look, you hired me to do a song. I did.
love Moesha too.
I want my money and that's it." "Oh, word? It's
I don't know
like
about
that?
Brandon. I know about Moesha.
You just want your money. You told me it wouldn't be a problem. The only reason why I came up here is because you said... Pac then supposedly interrupted her and said, "So you're not trying to suck my D?" "What?" Faith screamed. "What are you talking about? You know you want to suck my D, B-word, don't effing lie." Faith started to cry and tried to leave, while Pac continued yelling and insulting her.
J7P.
He supposedly said something about Biggie and the East Coast, to which Faith responded, "But I thought y'all were friends. You know you want to be my B-word." Faith then left and drove to her friend with a limo. She was crying the whole time. Afterwards, she drove back to the Peninsula Hotel to meet with Pac again. At the lobby of the hotel, she called Pac, saying that she's waiting downstairs and waiting for a check. To which Pac responded, "Oh, word? I'll be down there in a minute." After 20 minutes, he still didn't come. So she called again and he responded, "Oh, word?" The next couple of times she called Pac, he didn't pick up. He never came down to give her the money. That's when Faith knew that she had to get out of LA. In Faith's first account, there was never a mention of Tupac's harassment. She only said that he was always nice to her, even the last time they met. While Pac was alive, she never said anything bad about him. But after his death, she switched up her story and Tupac all of a sudden became the same filthy animal that supposedly assaulted Ayanna Jackson. But her story doesn't make any sense. Why would she go back to the same hotel room to meet the man who harassed and intimidated her? She was all alone. I mean, she was already crying and scared to death. Her staying for over an hour in this hotel room is also very suspicious. Also, why didn't she file a lawsuit for defamation and sexual harassment? Or call the cops? He would have been sent back to prison if she had won the case. But there were actual witnesses there who confirmed Pac's side of the story. No one has ever stepped forward as a witness to support Faith's claims.
Situation with me and Tupac, there really never was a situation. I mean, we met, he was really nice. I mean,
it was strictly business, no play.
It wasn't even business. It would have been business, but it never got that far.
It was you and somewhere else, and then it was moved on to his project, supposedly.
Pretty much.
In her book, she stated that she immediately flew back to New York and then got a call from Jennifer, who was working for Bad Boy. "Yo, have you heard? Big is pissed off. Him and Puff are wilding out right now." The rumors of Faith and Pac's affair had made their way to New York. Within hours, Biggie called Faith's hotel room. "What the F is going on?" he screamed. "Listen, I don't know what you heard, but..." Big then interrupted her, yelling, "You effing with Tupac?"
Said.
"Hell no," she yelled. "I told you I did a song with him." "And then what happened?" Big asked. "Nothing, I swear to God, nothing." "Faye, don't effing lie to me. Why are people saying this?" "I don't know. Big, but you know I would never..." Big then hung up the phone. She lied to Big, saying that she would never cheat on him. But in her book, she confessed, "I hadn't been completely innocent. While I was in Los Angeles, I had sex occasionally with Terry Dollars. And I'd even seen Roger, the NBA player, a few times when he was in town. So technically, I had cheated on Big, but not with Tupac." She even said occasionally, multiple times with multiple men. And this was just in LA. The whole time she was pretending to be the pure, innocent and loyal wife who gets wrongfully accused of cheating on her husband. But she did cheat on him according to herself. And she never told Biggie about it until the day he died. And they even had a kid together after the whole cheating.
I'm pregnant by Big because that was my husband and that was the only person that I was laying with, you know what I'm saying?
All right.
Even if I was involved with somebody, I wouldn't be out doing it like that, you know, especially not when I'm carrying this man's baby.
After that phone conversation, Faith took a shower to clear her head.
The way she said it,
she then wrapped herself in a towel and then heard a loud banging at her front door. Big was yelling and aggressively trying to break into her hotel room. As soon as Faith opened the door, Big rushed inside and grabbed her by her shoulder, yelling, "What the F is wrong with you?
She admitted to being a hoe when she was young. Everyone knew
Faith tried to break free and started crying. "Hell no," she said. "You have to believe me." Big's friend Damien had come with him and was standing in the corner of the room. "Damien, please tell me what's going on," Faith said. Damien stayed silent the whole time. Why is this guy saying this ish? Huh? Faye? Why? Big pushed her to the floor and she covered her head with her arms, while he continued to scream and curse at her. After about 10 minutes, it was over. He stormed out, leaving her on the ground, sobbing and hysterical. Faith realized that she walked into Tupac's trap and that he used her to hurt Biggie. And Big was done with her. Got even close.
Ain't no fucking way you just realize you walked in the trap. You knew the whole goddamn game plan. I don't agree with what he said right there, twin. Like she did walk in there. You know what the hell was going on, twin.
Also with Charlie Baltimore after that.
I wish I had the goddamn way.
And there were rumors that she was going to be her replacement. Then he saw the pictures of Pac and Faith together. Saw that she wasn't wearing her wedding ring. And showing off her ringless hand to the camera.
Yeah,
Pac's facial expression was also very provocative. And they were all hugged up like a couple. Big would always insult her in front of others and would approach her multiple times out of anger to get some answers. According to Puffy's bodyguard Gene Deal, he choked her and yelled at her when she was supposed to perform during one of her shows. There were other incidences where he would try to talk to her, but she would lock him out of the door in order to make sure that she doesn't get hurt. While Big was in a state of rage.
Saki in the room. We team Tupac over here. Let me see. You feel me? Team Tupac right here, boy. Y'all get on Amazon. That's where I got it from. That motherfucker hard ain't twin. Yo, we thug like over here, baby.
In anger, she was denying the allegations and trickle-truthing Big. Every time he caught her in a lie, he would get mad again. Faith went on the radio to say that she's not seeing Tupac. But every other week, Pac would make a cheeky comment in the media calling her his girl or implying that they slept together. And this would obviously frustrate, sadden and infuriate Biggie. It was an emotional roller coaster for him. Pac wanted to ruin his marriage after seeing the October '95 issue of the Vibe magazine with Biggie and Faith on the cover. On those pictures, they seemed like the perfect dream couple. All eyes were on them. Everybody read about their love story. How they got married 8 days after meeting each other. They called it love at first sight, and Pac wanted to destroy that. Embarrass them in front of the whole world. Just like how Big and everyone at the Quad Studios tried to embarrass him with their comments in the Vibe. He wanted to turn their love story into a joke, especially after hearing about Stretch trying to sleep with Pac's ex-girlfriend Desiree Smith while he was hanging out with Biggie's homies. He wanted to get back at both of them. But they supposedly only slept together on October 19th, and Suge Knight was sleeping with Puffy's baby mama Misa Hilton the whole time. Pac told them to take pictures of them together, so that they can shock Puffy the same way they wanted to shock Biggie. They wanted them to get ridiculed by the media, and hit them where it hurts the most. Here is a picture with Suge and Puffy's son Justin. You can all...
You out there playing my goddamn son. I know you motherfucker.
Also see Misa Hilton's legs on the left. Suge and Misa hooked up numerous times ever since the '95 Source Awards, and he would always fly her out to LA, together with her son, just to humiliate Puffy. Pac also did the same thing with Mary J. Blige, who Puffy was working with at the time. While Pac slept with her in one room, Suge slept with Misa Hilton in the other, boasting about how they can sleep with every woman in Puffy and Biggie's life, and then send them back to the East Coast. Mary J. Blige was supposedly passed around by multiple people on death row.
Damn, Mary J. I see why you be doing all the little dancing now.
At Rena Terrace 3345.
Damn.
Said, oh shit.
Nasty
at
word.
Sky Swizzy Broadcast. Said, nasty work 100 points face purple crying face purple
I ain't know
crying.
she was like that. Y'all knew she was like that. I ain't know she was like that.
At Jason Durek.
I thought she was a good Christian
said,
woman.
Diddy had involvement killing both them. At Evans 7764.
Right. He did.
Said,
he did, Jason.
What about Faith Hill? At Valerie Siddle. Said,
what you mean, Faith Hill?
The name,
that's Faith
the
Hill,
chain,
right?
ECT. At Valerie
Like for
Siddle.
example, Danny Boy and
said,
Suge himself.
Egan.
Pac later complained
At
and
Rena
joked
Terrace
about Mary's bad
3345.
smell in the intimate area.
Said,
Pac and Suge were doing everything they could to belittle and emasculate Puffy and Biggie, rubbing it into their faces and showing them that they can get away with everything. A lot of the shady things they did behind the scenes was hidden from the public. They were trying to drive them crazy and provoke a response, which they ended up getting months later. Pac and Suge shared a common interest. They both wanted to find out more about Puffy. Suge and other Ma Piru members indirectly held Puffy responsible for Jake's murder. Tupac, on the other hand, blamed Puffy for withholding.
At Political Basics, said, Mary used to be high as on coke. Terrorist 345.
Damn.
Said, it the smoker and her. At Ang02J1Q. Said, Diddy murked Tupac.
Nah, he had somebody hired. He hired some East Coast Crips.
Faith Hill is a country singer from Mississippi. At Jason Durek. Said, did he need to be taught a lesson?
Yeah, he getting taught a lesson now. We waiting on August the 10th is the trial of the dude named Keith. Keith with he's with what's it called? They was West Coast Crips or some shit. Whatever said they from. Who shot Tupac and shit? They said Tupac shot him and shit. He going on trial. Hopefully drop all the bomb on Diddy and tell him that he gave him money to hire them to kill him. We hope he dropped that and so they can get Diddy.
Holding information about the shooters and the mastermind behind the Quad Studio shooting, thinking he would have told him if he wasn't cool with those people or part of the whole setup. By the end of October, Pac had decided to go on the offensive against Biggie, Puffy, and Bad Boy by writing more battle rap themed tracks or songs where he's taking subliminal shots at his enemies. Like on Only God Can Judge Me, for example, which was recorded on October 26th.
Screaming in fear. At Stuart McCormick 3977. Said,
he started off by saying that he got stabbed in the back by his own homies during and after the Quad Studio shooting. He's obviously talking about Stretch, Biggie, and Puffy.
Said, Diddy crying in front of Judge.
The next couple of jabs are on the Posse track When We Ride, featuring the Outlaws and ex-members of the group Third Life.
Said,
it was recorded a day later on October 27th. In the song When We Ride, Pac is talking about a certain person who shouldn't have quote-unquote effed around with a sick-ass guy like him. He's talking about one person,
Rochester, New York,
saying that his adversaries will crumble and that he's out for revenge for the people that shot him.
Who shot you? From the opposite, leap hard to creep them Brooklyn streets. You wonder who shot me is a clue, stay alert, because we coming for you.
On October 30th, Pac recorded the title track of his album All Eyes on Me, which also contains subliminal shots at Biggie. With all the different recounts in the Vibe magazine about the Quad Studio shooting, fans and readers were confused on who to trust. Pac or Biggie and everyone else who was there at the Quad Studios. Their versions of the story conflicted Pac's detailed description of the things that transpired during the shooting. Both sides called each other out for lying and tried to make themselves look better. Pac also accused Biggie of trying to copy his sound and style, especially the player image, him making records for the ladies and club bangers for his album. Pac was the one who told him to change his style a bit and to make more radio-friendly records. That's how Biggie became successful, at least according to Pac. But now those same people who supposedly copied him are now player hating and talking bad about him in the media. Ready for the Funk is not only referencing Biggie's album Ready to Die, but also the song Machine Gun Funk on the same album.
I believe that.
Pac is basically saying that they're all liars and cowards who would run at first sign of funk, saying that they're not ready for it. Which is actually what happened a couple months later after the Soul Train Awards in '96. More on that later. Pac is ready to send those people to hell for supposedly backstabbing him.
The bold ones.
Holla When You See Me is directed at both Biggie and Stretch. He actually made a song called Holla at Me about a month later, in which he dedicated a couple verses to both of them. He believed that Biggie and Puffy had previous knowledge of or inside intel of those involved in the Quad Studio shooting. So Pac is asking them, are you still down? Telling them to holler at him. He's been waiting all this time for them to come pay him a visit and talk it out with him. Expected them to come see him in prison and to show love and support. Not on the radio for clouds, but actual support in person. See
I got
if he or his family needs something. Things you would expect from your closest friends. Instead of doing this whole back and forth in the magazines, they shall come holler at him. A day later, on October 31st, Tupac decided to add insult to injury by recording the first version of the Biggie diss track Hit 'Em Up. A full song going at it. Not just subliminal lines here and there, but an entire verse from Pac bragging about sleeping with Faith Evans. Using the same beat he played for her before sleeping with her. He slept with Big's wife and made sure that there are pictures and recordings of them together, which the media would spread everywhere around the world. That was step 1 of Pac's war strategy. This is now 12 days after that incident. Step 2 was now to put it on wax and record the biggest battle record ever. Something that gets played all around the world. At clubs, at parties, at events, on every block. So that you can't escape it. Similar to how Tupac couldn't escape Pushatia while he was in prison. They played the song around him to piss him off, to see his reaction. It was pure entertainment to them. And Pac wanted to give Biggie a taste of his own medicine, so that he can't escape the humiliation. Constantly hearing the song that destroyed his marriage and his playing. It was a leg lock, something that's really hard to get out of and to come back from. Because diss tracks are all about emasculating the opponent and making them look like a joke. How are you supposed to not only undo the damage, but also come back in a way that you're seen as the victor? As someone who made a strong comeback with a counterpunch that deals more damage than destroying someone's marriage. Biggie would need to drop a nuclear bomb to make a comeback. Pac also wanted to introduce the world to his clique, the Outlaw Immortals, which was supposed to be an upgrade over the Thug Life movement prior to his incarceration. He wanted the Outlaws to blow away Biggie's Junior Mafia, because Junior Mafia had successfully defeated Thug Life in terms of sales. Pac was planning to release a project with the Outlaws similar to the Thug Life album and JM's Conspiracy, but more successful, putting Biggie's movement to shame and showing him that he should have been part of Pac's movement instead of creating his own. And he also wanted to show Biggie that he's not on his level.
We need a new
album.
He's
on the level of the Outlaws, on the level of the soldiers. Just like how Big was supposed to be his soldier on Thug Life.
You know what I'm saying? What's a different version? First version?
Pac starts off by saying that he has no friends. And that unlike Biggie, he doesn't need to diss people subliminally.
What you know about
like all his friends stabbed him in the back, thinking that Biggie and Stretch turned on him. When they said that they still consider Tupac as their friends, Pac responded with, "I ain't got no friends," basically saying no thank you. Pac is also saying that Big should have been more direct. Instead of making songs that are subliminal, leaving it up for interpretation, and then denying it in interviews.
Man, what's up, bro? Bro, you just missed it, bro. We hit 500. We hit 500 earlier, bro.
Instead of talking behind people's backs like Biggie supposedly did after the Quad Studio shooting, while at the same time pretending like everything is cool, Pac takes action and stays true to his words, making it public that he slept with Big's wife, showing that he's true to the game and not all talk. Not a two-faced coward that says one thing and does another, but someone who's direct and real. His words are aligned with his actions. A true player, unlike Biggie. He proved that he's a player by sleeping with Big's wife. That's what he was trying to say. As mentioned earlier, Biggie and Puffy talked badly about Pac while he was in prison, saying that he was in movie mode, acting, exaggerating, and lying. Puff in particular called him a fake thug in the Vibe magazine, and Big claimed that Pac shot himself, and that he didn't actually get shot 5 times. He supposedly lied about it to look better and tougher, because in the hood, people lose respect for you if you get dropped after shooting yourself, especially when you have a...
So y'all think Tupac was in the Illuminati? I need to know this shit. All my Tupac fans in motherfucker. I need to know if that nigga was in Illuminati. Y'all think he was Illuminati? He said he did kill you, Illuminati, but you think before he said that he was in Illuminati? What y'all think? Let me know something. Cause I heard when you taking pictures in the bath, what's it called? The pictures with all the jewelry in the bath. You know what I'm saying? They said they would tear his ass up, shit. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all think they true or false? You said yup. Damn. Trust in the same blood of Jesus Christ against our sin nature and against the invisible demons in the invisible air. We're gonna say a prayer for that. I appreciate you with that prayer, my boy. Well, Freddie, appreciate that. We need more of that. I appreciate that. You said I was a big fan. So you ain't a fan of what? Tupac no more? Y'all left one of the outlaws out nuts from Oakland. I still don't know all the outlaws. Like, you know what I'm saying? I barely know their name, to be honest. I only know Tupac, to be real. But y'all can't blame me. I was, you know what I'm saying? I was a kid at that time. What you mean? They, like he said, they always gay? Man, I ain't, y'all gonna have, I'll fight y'all motherfuckers down. Y'all talking about Tupac gay. I ain't gonna lie. We gonna fall out, chat. Already. We just got them getting to know each other. We gonna fall out. On the top. We gonna fall out.
Thug or tough guy image. Pac hopes that Big made enough money while he was locked up. Cause now that he's released, he'll make sure that his sales will drop and his career will come to an end. He wanted to show the world that he can easily outsell and outperform him.
At Lamont D19 said, I think once he found out more about the organization, he wasn't down with it. That's why he said he putting AK in front of it cause he killing that shit.
Style. How he went commercial and adapted the player image, even though he never wanted to go that route. He calls him phony and fat, the furthest thing from a player. The Biggie that Pac got to know wasn't popular with women,
well, get the
and he didn't wear the most expensive clothes and drink champagne every day.
I don't mean to keep stopping, Jay, but the dude at work, so I was catching this shit at work with one of my coworkers. So he said the reason Puffy, I'm gonna call him Diddy. I can't call him no damn Puffy. But Diddy, why Diddy is right now, because his mama, he grew up in a whorehouse. His mama got down, you know what I'm saying? Like that, for real. I don't know if that's facts or true. Y'all need to know if that's facts. That's why he like that. Then her boyfriend used to molest his ass and shit. You know what I'm saying? That was my coworker tell me. I don't know if that's true or not. That's why he is like so freaky.
Pointing out how he all of a sudden started wearing Versace just like Pac. Basically copying him, which is of course debatable. And the tough talk on Who Shot Ya, where he raps about shooting people, is all bluff to him. Because he's under the impression that Big ain't really a tough guy. That he's too scared to actually get involved in shootings. And that he's not the tough gangster that shoots people like in the music video for Warning.
At Feathers54 said, Pimp C was the first to tell us this was on the cards. He died shortly after revealing all. At Lamont D19
Pac calls Biggie a cross-eyed crack baby with Down syndrome.
Where they said
As most of you know, Biggie has a lazy eye, which means that one of his eyes sometimes wanders outward as it's weaker than the other. A crack baby is a term coined to describe children who were exposed to crack as fetuses, meaning he implied that Big's mother smoked crack while being pregnant with Biggie. The part about the Down syndrome was obviously not true, but he wanted to make him look like a disabled person because of his eye problems. He also makes fun of him and Puff for trying to act tough on records like Who Shot Ya or on the Conspiracy album, where they embraced the mafioso style, and also in their music videos, of course. This was said in response to what Puffy said about him in the Vibe magazine, calling him a fake thug who should stop acting and treating his life like a movie.
I got your ass in my sight, take it down tonight, we screaming West Side for life. And I can't wait to see you in the traffic, cause we gon' get them up. When you see me, you better bust.
Big and Pac would later see each other after an award show that almost came to a shooting. More on that later. In the hook, Pac raps the infamous line, this is obviously referring to the song Who Shot Ya. With Pac saying you punks didn't finish, he's indirectly putting the mastermind of the shooting, the robbers, and also Biggie and Puffy in the same group. So people interpreted these lines as him accusing Biggie and Puffy of having something to do with the shooting. Cause why else would you tell Biggie, the guy who made Who Shot Ya, that he and his people didn't manage to finish him off? Why did he even make that connection? Biggie's name is somehow always brought up when he talks about his shooters. And this goes back to people in prison telling him that Biggie bragged about his homies robbing Tupac. But again, there's zero evidence that Biggie actually did that. The people who fed Pac information might have lied about it for their own agenda. Or maybe they misinterpreted something. Or maybe Tupac was indeed clout chasing. Cause that's what E Moneybags said after visiting Tupac in prison.
So
he wanted to hear his side of the story. And came to the conclusion that Pac had no actual evidence to blame Biggie. He told Prodigy from Mobb Deep that he's only doing it to increase his record sales. Which means that Big didn't deserve all the things Tupac did to him after coming out of prison. This version of the song also features Napoleon, who was left off the final product, which came out a year later. It didn't surprise me that he was cut off, as most of the lines weren't actually disses. Idi Amin's verse dealt with the same problem. Same with Gaddafi and the female rapper Storm. It's mostly just empty threats and nothing else. None of the lines on here deserve to be on a diss track. So I'm not surprised that they actually scrapped the whole song. Only one aside from Tupac who did well on this song was Hussein Fatal, who was probably the most skilled rapper of the group. His punchlines made it to the final version of the song, so I will cover them later. At the time, Pac didn't really know what to do with the song. Cause A, it wasn't good enough, and B, he felt like he was going a little bit too far. Cause there would be no coming back after releasing this. Cause what if it turns out that Biggie was actually innocent? Then Pac would be seen as the backstabber. The one that slept with the wife of his homie after accusing him of setting him up. And after lying about him in the media. But now it was already too late for him to stop. So he stuck to his beliefs and his opinions, but didn't go all the way through. That's why most of the disses on All Eyes on Me are subliminal. He removed Hit 'Em Up from the tracklist. With Shook's homie Big Jake getting shot and killed prior to Pac's release from prison, and with the media turning the feud between two labels into a coastal war, nobody wanted to turn it into a bloodbath. So Pac wasn't going all out yet in 95. He wasn't sure if he should put any of the songs where he mentions Biggie, Puffy or Bad Boy onto his upcoming double album. But he made sure to include subliminal lines with keywords that Puff and Big would understand and interpret as disses towards them. Every time Pac talked about enemies, snakes, betrayal, traitors, or the Quad Studio shooting in general, he was talking about Big and Puffy, because those were the people who were on his mind back then. Like on the song Can't See Me, for example, which Pac recorded on November 2nd, 2 days after working on Hit 'Em Up. Pac was on a mission to surprise his enemies with the biggest comeback ever, while lyrically taking aim at everyone who badmouthed him while he was locked up. All the people that were happy that they finally got rid of him will now see him in flesh and suffer the consequences. Telling people to make clear what side they're on. Are they with him or are they against him? For Pac, his old friends Biggie and Stretch had already made their decisions, and he no longer considered them friends. They had their time to shine while Pac was locked up, but now that he's out, he's taking back his crown, eliminating all his adversaries like they're no competition for him. In the outro, he also says that people shouldn't believe everything they read, talking about all the different statements made by eyewitnesses who talked about the Quad Studio shooting. Like Biggie, Puffy, Lil Sean, Andre Harrell, Jimmy Henchman, Stretch. They had multiple accounts of what happened, and some of the statements contradicted each other. So Pac is telling his fans to not believe everything they read, implying that his enemies are lying on him. This is the only song on the album where he's mentioning Biggie by name.
This one's for you, big baby.
On November 5th, Pac, Shook, The Outlaws and the entire Death Row family drove to Las Vegas to perform at Shook's Club 662 and to promote the album All Eyes on Me. On that day, he wore the silk shirt that Faith bought for him. Cause as mentioned earlier, Faith would go on shopping sprees and then return with gifts for Tupac. They had a very close relationship. Pac even bragged about it in interviews, which on January 14th, 1996, made it on the New York Times. Tonight, Suge is wearing a new maroon suit and a matching fedora. The rest of the Death Row posse are wearing red and black. Black pants or red pants. Or black blazers or red blazers. Tupac is the only one in a different color. He's wearing an elaborately patterned gold shirt and baggy jeans. The wife of a top rapper bought this for him, Suge says. Who's that? His name is an acronym.
Shout out to my boy, man.
Notorious B.I.G.'s wife, Faith Evans. She bought him this and a suit, and some other stuff, Suge says. And how did you thank her, Tupac? Tupac pauses. I did enough, he says rather salaciously. That same day, on November 5th, Pac did an interview with Uncle Luke and appeared on Luke's Peep Show, taunting Faith and Biggie.
I got a song with Snoop, I got a song with Corrupt, Jazz, Rage, Faith, and Bad Boy. I got a song with Faith and Bad Boy. We did this track together. What do you want to call you? I just want to tell you, you miss motherfucker. I hate throwing up New York, nigga. He throwing up gang signs. I seen Biggie throwing up this. Biggie don't know nothing about no gang signs. Why did he keep throwing up gang signs? Why do these East Coast niggas be? If they come to California, some of these true to life gang bangers gonna pull your motherfucking card. Cause these niggas out here dying for that shit, and you wanna make a video and play with that shit. Be careful, homie. All you fake friend ass niggas, you got to be careful because it's very dangerous out here. You can do that little set me up in the studio in New York, but in California, nigga, that's where the G's ride.
On November 7th, Pac recorded the song Hearts of Men, on which he starts off by reminding the CEO of Death Row Records what he told and promised him when he came out of prison.
Hey, Suge, what I tell you when I come out of jail, what I was gonna do? I was gonna start digging into these chicken chests, right?
He promised him that he'll destroy the label Bad Boy Entertainment. And Suge obviously liked what he was hearing, as he himself was already in a beef with the CEO of Bad Boy Entertainment, Puff Daddy. And he knew that controversy sells. So his eyes turned into dollar signs, and they immediately came to an understanding. He then continues by saying that he'll show everybody what it's like on the west side, the real side, implying that the East Coast ain't the real side. He's creating this contrast of real and fake. The riders on the West Coast and the quote-unquote pussies on the East Coast. DJ Quick was there when Suge Knight slept with Puffy's baby mama Misa Hilton. He was one of the few eyewitnesses who've seen them leave the hotel together after the 95 Source Awards. He and Pac were both laughing at them and were making fun of the East Coast together. He also explains how there will be real people on your side who are true friends, but also fake ones who are disguised as friends but envy you and turn into enemies the first chance they get, in a moment of weakness when you're asking them for help. He was most likely referring to Stretch and Biggie. He's just disappointed in them as friends and thought that they did more damage than actual good with their statements in interviews and their actions during and after the shooting. He also thought that Biggie and Puffy wanted to see him rot in jail. 3 days later, between November 10th and November 13th, Pac and Dr. Dre were at the shooting for the California Love music video. The two hung out together on the set and even made fun of Biggie. Dr. Dre found out about the song Hit 'Em Up, which Tupac originally wanted to put on All Eyes on Me, and he offered Pac to remix it so that it becomes the biggest record ever. But Pac refused as he wanted to stay loyal to his friend Johnny J, who actually produced that record. Tupac also bragged about sleeping with Faith when they turned on the cameras to promote the record and the label Death Row.
I just want to send a shout out to Faith. Hey girl, hey, and Bad Boy Records. That's for Bad Boy Records. I love y'all. Y'all keep making money.
Suge was in the video too. Those two were the main people on Death Row who wanted to destroy Bad Boy. On November 25th, Faith's vocals from Wonder Why They Call You B were replaced with the ones from the singer Jewel, the first lady of Death Row. There are rumors that Faith and Bad Boy threatened the label with legal action, but it's also possible that they just couldn't get the clearance for Faith's vocals, since Bad Boy and Death Row were enemies and would most likely not cooperate. Plus, according to Faith, she never received her money. On November 28th, Pac recorded the song Comrades, which features the Outlaws, Storm, and Big Syke. It contains a couple jabs at Bad Boy Records. He wants to make Bad Boy bow before Death Row, and thinks that it's time for the next chapter, now that Biggie, Puffy, and everyone else had their time to talk bad about Tupac while he was locked up. He also dedicates the last verse to all the quote-unquote tricks who he's trying to murder, while mentioning Bad Boy and the rapper The Brat, who did a song with Big in '94 called The B-Side. And Pac was basically taking aim at everyone that chose to do a song with him. 2 days later, on November 30th, Big Stretch from the Live Squad was shot and killed in a fatal high-speed car chase, exactly 1 year after the Quad Studio shooting. In the March '96 issue of The Source magazine, Tupac spoke on Stretch's death and gave his opinion on what happened. You know what happened? Rules of the game. What goes around comes around. Meaning dishonest acts against other people eventually catch up to the offender, meaning Stretch. So Pac basically said that he suffered the consequences of his own actions on the 1 year anniversary of the Quad Studio shooting. Cause Pac later blamed Stretch for him getting shot and the robbers getting away. He wanted Stretch to grab one of the robbers so that he can shoot him, expected some form of support and help, instead of him dropping like a sack of potatoes. So people use this statement right here as proof that Tupac thought that Stretch got shot because of the Quad Studio shooting, that he suffered the consequences of letting Pac down, and then later talking bad about him in the media. They also interpreted Pac's statements as a jab at Stretch. Cause in the Vibe magazine, Stretch was using the rules of the game as an argument against Tupac. And now Pac is referencing those same rules to say that Stretch got what he deserved. Cause Stretch had said, I want him to get a reality check. Recognize what the F he's doing. People on the streets live by rules, man. And that rule right there, that's a rule that's never to be broken. He implied that Pac broke the rules of the streets. Now Pac is directly responding to that comment, using the same words as Stretch. Know what happened? Rules of the game. What goes around comes around. I never had no violent thoughts towards Stretch at all. I just didn't want to F with him no more. But I didn't want to kill him. He's my dog. Once you my dog, you my dog. He got shot just like I got shot. Everybody believed it was just a random robbery when I got shot. This guy get killed, now random-ish don't happen. He basically said that the shooting involving Stretch was just as random and spontaneous as the Quad Studio shooting, which everyone now knows wasn't random at all. It was a planned setup, and Pac knew that. So this right here could be sarcasm, meaning he really put out a hit on Stretch and is now playing innocent like Puffy and Jimmy Henchman, doing interviews in magazines denying everything while everyone points their finger at them. But he could also just be playing with the idea of people thinking that he's powerful enough to put out hits on people. But it didn't seem like his death bothered him at all, even though he was his best friend at one point. Word on the street is that Stretch was killed for robbing a drug dealer for 10 keys of cocaine, which he refused to return. He had just produced the song Take It in Blood for the East Coast rap legend Nas, with whom Pac would later get into a beef with. But the Bad Boy camp probably speculated if Pac or the people from Death Row had anything to do with it, and if they would dare to do the same thing to him, cause Big and Stretch were real close, and Pac was mad at both of them. Plus, nobody knew what Shook would do next after losing his friend Big Jake, cause he blamed Puffy for his death. 2 days after Stretch got killed, meaning on December 2nd, Pac decided to diss him on the song Holla at Me, which was named that way because of Tupac's ex-girlfriend Desiree Smith's letter, in which he asked Tupac why Stretch is trying to holler at her. So Pac took that and indirectly told Stretch that he should holler at him instead of hollering at his ex-girlfriend.
But Stretch had already passed at this point, so Pac was technically talking to a dead man. These lines are not only aimed at Biggie, but also directed at Stretch, who he had known for way longer. Before he put out his debut album, Tupacalypse Now, Pac had him on every album, made dozens of songs with him, let him produce tracks for his projects, and even made him a member of his group Thug Life. With "It Was All a Scheme, You Infiltrated My Team and Sold a Dream," he's talking about the Thug Life movement that Stretch and Biggie became a part of. Pac had his dreams crushed after that shooting. The people from the Thug Life movement, who were supposed to look out for him and be ready to put their lives on the line for their brothers, abandoned him and let him fight those robbers on his own. Didn't even help him to find the people who did it, when the whole purpose of the movement was to save and help each other. That was Pac's dream. The dream people like Stretch and Biggie sold him when they joined his movement. Pac is asking Stretch how he could just watch them shoot and beat him unconscious, when they all gave their word to fight for each other and to defend each other with their lives. He said Stretch dropped like a sack of potatoes, even though he was the biggest guy there, saying that Stretch and his family would still be living in the streets if he wouldn't have given him a chance to make money. Same with Biggie. Big would have went back to selling drugs to make enough money to raise his daughter, who was on the way. Pac was the one who took him on shows so that he can make some quick cash until his deal with Puffy works out. He gave both Stretch and Biggie money to eat and paid their bills as they were broke. He always looked out for them and gave them money when needed, took them on all his shows, had Stretch on all his albums, and even moved Stretch's family into his residence. Again about Stretch getting weak knees when the robbers pulled out their guns, and he just followed their orders, not knowing what to do. Stretch felt like it would have been suicide if he had tried to fight back, cause he didn't have a gun, nor is he able to dodge bullets. Pac was the only one bold enough to counterattack, but you could also interpret these lines as shots against Biggie, blaming him for being too scared to open his mouth and tell him who did it, fearing the consequences of speaking up. Pac was not only disappointed, but he had also lost his respect for them, to the point where squashing the beef was impossible, as he could never see himself being their friends again. He also said this in the March '96 issue of The Source magazine. Stretch was my closest road dog, my closest homie. I did a lot of drama. I got into a lot of cases in Ish because of Stretch. Money-wise, he could have had anything. His daughter was my daughter. Whatever she wanted, she could have. Then this Ish happened and the guy didn't write for me. He didn't do what your dog is supposed to do when you shut up. When I was in jail, he never wrote me, never got at me. His homeboys was coming to see me and he wasn't coming to see me. And he started hanging around Biggie right after this. I'm in jail, shut up, his main dog, and he hanging out and going to shows with Biggie. Both these guys never came to see me. There were rumors on the street that Stretch sold Pac out for money, that he worked for Jimmy Henchman, and that's supposedly why he was the one relaying messages for him. That's why they went directly at Pac instead of the big guy, meaning Stretch. And that's why he continued to hang out with Bad Boy, who on the other hand continued to hang out with Jimmy Henchman. But Majesty, who's the brother of Stretch, denied it, saying that they were in shock and surprised when Jimmy Henchman got the number of their mother, cause Jimmy called their mom's crib, possibly to intimidate them, showing them that they know where their mom lives and that they can reach her whenever they want, and they would have never worked with someone who threatened their mother. The last two lines of the first verse could be interpreted as Pac alluding to the rumors of Stretch selling him out for money. These lines are directed at both Stretch and Big. Fear wasn't their only motive when they let him down, according to Pac, saying that it was their greed for money that led them to trap or set up his friend during the robbery. He talked about this in the '96 Vibe interview.
And I feel as though he wronged you. You got out of hand and you wronged. You got seduced by the power, not because he's an evil person, but because money is evil if it's not handled right. If you lose your composure, you can do anything. And he fear got stronger than love, And they know they weren't supposed to do.
Then in the hook, he flips it and says that he must stay sharp and alert so that he doesn't fall prey to the things that greed for money brings. Pac wants to stay sharp so that he recognizes his friends with ulterior motives or hidden agendas.
Damn, I wish
in order to make sure that something similar to the Quad Studio robbery doesn't happen again.
He probably did.
Pac had developed trust issues and questioned everybody that was close to him. Cut ties with most of the people he knew, as he felt like he couldn't even trust his childhood friends. That's why he started saying trust nobody during his time in prison.
I would tell each and every person out there, don't forget about that clicking up thing, you know what I mean? Be to yourself. Stay to yourself. Trust nobody. Trust nobody. My closest friends did me in. My closest friends, my homies, people who I done took care of their whole family. I done took care of everything for them, looked out for them, put them in the game, everything turned on me.
Therefore, anyone who's going to be down with Pac better holler at him, to let him know that he can trust him. That's the message of the song. This right here is a play on words and also confirmation that he's addressing Stretch. Stretch was part of the group Live Squad together with his brother Majesty. Being live means being bold, fearless and respected. Pac is questioning that now that he saw him in fear during the Quad Studio shooting. He can never be live because he's a quote-unquote coward that pretends to be hard but folds under pressure. But it could also be a double entendre, since Stretch passed away. He can never be live or alive because he's dead. These lines could also be a response to Biggie, cause on the song Who Shot Ya, Puffy kept yelling "Get Live" in the intro, interlude and outro.
Thank y'all for the 34 likes on this stream, y'all. I appreciate it.
This is obviously about him standing up after getting shot 5 times and then going upstairs to see everybody's faces, including Jimmy Henchman, Puffy, Andre Harrell and the other 40 people who were up there. A couple days after Pac's single California Love with Dr. Dre came out, Pac got confronted by a couple of Keefe D's homies. Again, Keefe D was the Southside Crip that Puff Daddy hired as additional security to keep an eye on Suge Knight and the Mob Piru. Pac had a line in that song that upset the Crips, recognized from Long Beach to Rosecrans. The Crips had a problem with that line because Pac was referring to the areas around Long Beach Boulevard and Rosecrans Avenue in Compton, which is the territory of the Mob Piru Bloods, the gang that Suge and most people working for Death Row were affiliated with, rivals of the Southside Crips and the people that Puffy wanted to keep in check. The Crip Big Syke, who was Pac's friend at the time, de-escalated the situation. I gave a detailed description of what happened in the Tupac murder documentary. Make sure to check it out. Tupac tattooed the acronym MOB on his inner right upper arm. The acronym stands for 2 things according to Tupac himself: money over bees and money, organization and business. He referenced it on numerous songs recorded in '96, like for example Blasphemy, Hit 'Em Up, Changed Man, Worldwide Mob Figures, MOB, the list goes on and on. People to this day are still unsure if MOB was more than just an acronym that Tupac created, cause MOB can also mean Mafia, a criminal organization, an acronym for members of Bloods, or a reference to the Mob Piru. You can't make songs and call yourself MOB or any other gang name without gang members confronting you. So the Mob Piru members associated with Death Row knew what he was doing and were fine with it. Some say he got that tattoo to get the Pirus on his side, basically as an army to ride with him in his wars, cause Pac felt like the whole world was against him. He was in the middle of the East Coast-West Coast war. Suge, a Mob Piru member, got him out of prison and got him a second chance in life. So it could have also been loyalty towards Suge. Puffy, on the other hand, relied on the Southside Crips, meaning Keefe D and his people. Pac had Piru members as a security around him and made himself a target against the Southside Crips. He not only became part of Suge's bloody war with Puffy, in which people like the Piru member Big Jake, one of Suge's friends, got killed by one of Puffy's associates, but the Southsiders around Puff were also beefing with the Pirus. So the wolves that Pac and Puffy had around them as security were fighting a bloody war of which Pac couldn't get out of. He more or less got dragged into a gang war without being a real gang member. And things got worse day by day. It wasn't just a hip-hop rivalry anymore. Both sides were constantly receiving death threats. The Crips would approach Pac and the Bloods would approach Puffy. Around the same time, Biggie and Junior Mafia filmed the music video to their hit record Get Money. Big was asked about the whole friction between the East and West Coast, and also about his beef with Tupac.
I'm just here to make music, man. That's it. Right. I don't know East Coast, West Coast, none of that. I'm on Big and Junior Mafia. Just trying to make some paper, man. People in the West Coast, my love. You know what I'm saying? Do y'all thing. We gonna do our thing. We gonna continue to do our thing.
You a what? Bad boy killers.
On December 12th, Pac recorded the song F 'Em All, together with his outlaws calling themselves Bad Boy Killers. In the intro, Pac tells Biggie to put his hands up.
Hey yo, Biggie, put your hands up.
Taking a common saying from the police, put your hands where I can see them, and using it to belittle his rival Biggie, who's lyrically being held at gunpoint, cornered by Pac and his outlaws. He asks him to surrender and bow down to his greatness, telling Bad Boy to bow down to Death Row, while calling himself a notorious Biggie killer.
Notorious Biggie killer, affiliation with Death Row. Get that cat bill back, food is the West Coast.
He wanted to show the East Coast that the West Coast is superior, during a time when the media couldn't stop using the phrase East Coast-West Coast War as a headline for their magazines. So he was obviously fine with that, and was in full war mode, ready to take on the whole coast if he has to. 3 days later, on December 15th, just 3 months after Big Jake got shot in Atlanta, there was another incident that changed the beef between Puffy and Suge forever. Death Row Records was having a Christmas party at a home in the Hollywood Hills, and a record promoter from New York named Mark Anthony Bell, who was close to Puffy, decided to attend, which led to him getting beaten up and threatened by Suge, Tupac, and the Mob Peru. They wanted to know the exact location of Puff Daddy's home in LA, so that they can pay him a visit and rough him up. Mark Bell refused to cooperate, and got beaten up pretty badly. Suge even tried to force him to drink a glass filled with his urine, just to humiliate him. I have touched on this incident in my Tupac murder documentary. There you can find out what exactly happened that night, and hear the story in full detail. When Puffy found out about this incident, he panicked and was scared for his life, cause Mark Bell took the first flight back to New York, and Puffy was notified immediately. Suge and his people wanted retaliation not only for Big Jake's murder, but also for supposedly knowing about the plans of robbing Tupac at the Quad Studios. So both Biggie and Puffy were mad at them. Big had just seen the pictures of Pac and Faith together, with everybody spreading rumors of her cheating. And Puffy feared for his life. So he once again tried to get closer to Keefe D and the Southsiders, to make sure that they're always with him whenever he flies to the West Coast. The following day, on December 16, 1995, Snoop Dogg and the Dogg Pound were in New York to shoot the music video for the song New York, New York, off the Dogg Pound's debut album Dog Food, which had just come out. It was released on October 31st. Biggie heard it and was upset when he found out that they used the beat for his Sanites commercial to make a West Coast banger called New York, New York.
I know you're thinking, well, goddamn, what you drinking? The cookie letter. No other beer feel better.
At the time, Biggie thought that the song New York, New York was supposed to be a diss towards him, the King of New York, and also to the city he was representing. Cause not only did they snatch his beat, but Death Row had just signed Tupac, who allegedly slept with his wife and is now making diss records. No one knew what was about to happen. Bad Boy was already competing with Death Row, so they saw the album Dog Food as a direct response to Biggie's Ready to Die, cause they were going head to head with their album sales. The sales of the Dogg Pound album were getting closer and closer to Ready to Die, and they ended up going double platinum way faster than Big. It took them less than 3 months, while it took Ready to Die more than a year. But the game still respected Biggie way more than the Dogg Pound. Rapping wise, he was just in a league of his own. Death Row was still superior in terms of record sales, But Bad Boy was getting closer and closer. Now with Tupac on board, with all the rumors that were going around, and with Pac's comments in the Vibe magazine, people on the East Coast were nervous about what the hothead Pac would do next. It was rumored that Pac, Snoop, the Dogg Pound and Dr. Dre would take the East Coast-West Coast beef to a whole new level by using Pac's anger, passion and energy as ammo to fire at the East Coast. Back then, rappers and artists were shrouded in mystery. You would only hear from them when they would drop an album, a single or do an interview. You didn't know what these people were thinking or planning. They couldn't just make a tweet and make you understand what they feel like at this very moment. So nobody knew what was about to happen. Both sides were waiting on each other to drop an album, a single or an interview, where one side says something about the other, so that they can respond accordingly. And right now, only Tupac and Suge were the ones wilding out in interviews. So Biggie didn't know what the Dogg Pound or Snoop thought about him. Were they agreeing with Tupac's hateful comments towards Bad Boy, or were they just doing their own thing? Biggie didn't know what to expect, but he was cautious and paranoid, cause the man had just ruined his marriage. What is he going to do next? When Big heard that the people from Death Row came to New York to shoot a music video, he thought of the worst, thinking that Pac would shoot the music video to one of his diss tracks against him. In New York. Make fun of him in New York in his own territory. Showing New Yorkers that he can do anything he wants. That the West Coast is on top. And that the East Coast can't do anything about it. No one wanted to get humiliated and disrespected like that. Especially as the King of New York, he couldn't allow them to do that. He thought he's going to make a music video bragging about sleeping with his wife, while walking through the streets of New York like cowboys, like bosses, as if they owned the place. So he felt like he had to do something, cause he knew how disrespectful Pac could be if he wanted to. A day prior, they beat up the New York record promoter trying to find out where Puffy lives. And now they're in New York doing God knows what. So everyone was on high alert, even though Pac wasn't even there. This video shoot was only for Snoop Dogg and the Dogg Pound, who were actually friends with Big before Pac got signed to the label. The video set in New York was heightened when the set was fired upon after New Yorkers felt they were being disrespected. When West Coast hip-hop artists flew to New York to film a music video in the middle of the East Coast-West Coast war. The video was originally going to be a dedication to New York, but they thought they would do the exact opposite. The notorious B.I.G. called up the Hot 97 radio station with Funkmaster Flex and instigated the incident. According to Snoop Dogg, Biggie was the one who called the shots on him, cause they went to see Funk Flex earlier that day to show love and respect. And to say, DPG, we here shooting a video. We need all you New York rappers to come F with us. Cause we love y'all. We shooting a video at Times Square. We shooting at Red Hook. Come get down with us. That's what Snoop and the Dogg Pound wanted to say on the radio, but Funk Flex wouldn't let them in. They then headed to the video shoot, and Big called up Hot 97 to speak to Flex and everyone listening. On air, he said, "There's a Tupac Dogg Pound video in Red Hook, Brooklyn. Brooklyn, stand up. How dare they come out here and record a video dissing New York?" Biggie's main motivation was to get Tupac. The situation between them was so heated that he didn't care about the consequences of those comments, calling for action as the voice of Brooklyn, while the entire city is listening. He most likely did it out of anger towards Tupac,